JT, thank you for joining us from the D.C. office. What's the deal here in terms of what the people on the inside are saying in terms of this interim or lovely deal? I don't know however he's going to characterize it.
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, a great being on again, Keith. There is no deal, right? They keep on saying there is an interim deal or interim deals in the works. I don't think there's been a discussion between the two parties since since back in May or maybe even June when everything broke down. So nobody really knows what this interim deal looks like. But the folks I've talked to said that they want to get back to where they were back in May. If you'll recall, Mnuchin said, hey, we're 90% of the way there. And what he didn't tell everybody was the 10% was the hardest part. So I think what we're looking at here in the coming weeks and months is getting back to where we were in May with the hardest part yet to deal with. So it seems as if we're treading water here on this interim deal. With regard to progress on China and what the administration intended at the onset. And part of this, I think, is being brought on by a number of economic advisors in the White House that want to avoid the impact of the next tranche. There are two more tranches of tariffs set to take effect, one on October 15th, and the second one, I think, as I mentioned earlier, on December 15th, where that's more focused on consumer goods. So with softening econ data both here and in China, I think both parties want to get back to the table, want to get back to negotiating. Again, nothing is going to take place until after October 1st. October 1st is when China celebrates the 70th anniversary of the People's Republic of China. They'll have a week-long celebration. This is, China. Trump suspended tariffs until after the on some goods until after the celebration, which will last probably a week or so in China. It looks as if both parties, both China and the U.S., will get back to the negotiating table probably in mid-October, if not somewhat earlier, and then they can talk. But again, the interim deal just gets us back to where we were, in my opinion, back in May. It's not going to solve, the China hawks, both in the U.S. and the administration, really want to make progress on tech transfer, IP protections, and currency. In my opinion, those things aren't going to be dealt with. And those are the tough ones.
Yeah, well, those are the ones that, there's bipartisan support that Americans believe that the Chinese are stealing our technology and are manipulating plenty of things that we would prefer they not. So again, it's interesting. I guess Trump's going to capitulate a little bit. Do you think he'll look weak? Do you think he'll look like he can man down a little bit? Do you think he needs to eat humble pie? Is that Trump's nature?
It's not his nature, and I think whatever they come up, this is going to be the conundrum he finds himself in. Does he stick with the hardliners like Peter Navarro in the administration, or the econ advisors right now that see the data and say, "Hey, look, we need to be strong going into. We need the economy to be strong going into 2020." That is his crowning achievement right now: is the economy, jobs, everything he's done since he's been in office. And if that starts to soften, then obviously his chances for re-election in November start to soften. So, Trump never capitulates. He may give in a little bit, but he'll never call it. He'll never say he gave in.
Yeah, I would believe that. I believe that. Well, thanks for just the insights. We know that you're going to have a busy day, but again, keep it coming. Anything changes on the margin. I think our viewers probably may or may not know that, which is a completely useless comment. But at the end of the day, you should know that we have a team in Washington. JT leads the team. And again, we're not going to make decisions in terms of the quads or asset allocation based on political views, that's for sure. But it certainly contextualizes the risk. So again, when you take something like, oh, we have a deal, I mean, we'd like to define ourselves what that means as opposed to take CNBC's word for it. So again, that's just an important texturing of the thing. Mm-hmm. And more importantly, I mean, it's really hard for people to look ahead a month. Go back a month. Go back to how you felt a month ago. It's the opposite of how you feel today because your bond portfolio was at the highs. Gold's ripping to new highs. People are chasing the chart. Remember all that holy moly Mike DeSantoli got all in on gold, probably right about there. It's important to say where we came from and understand that, just God forbid you know where we could be a month from today. So let's say that we have this wonderful deal that's not so wonderful. We're past the Fed meeting that's not dovish enough, and we have earnings that aren't good enough. Write those down. All three of those things are why I'm on the side of it. I'm not going to accept any more questions on that same question because that's the answer. The answer will not change until it changes. If it changes, I'll be the first to let you know.